Let us feel the presence of our Lord. God, we thank you for every seat that has been filled here today. We are gathered here under the shelter of your wings, nurtured by your love, and encouraged to fly by faith on the wind of your Spirit. We thank you in advance for your strength and grace that will sustain us and see us through everything that comes our way. Please guide us in every project, activities, and task we have every day. Take what we have prepared and multiply our efforts as only you can. Steer our intentions to align with your righteous will. Remind us of your faithful provision when our efforts fail us. May all glory go up to you when we reach the finish line and climb our benchmarks. Keep love at the forefront of our minds today and the guiding light for all we set out to accomplish and celebrate. This is our prayer in Jesus' mighty name. Amen.
Mga kababayan, ang pambansang awit ng Pilipinas.
Kayang mag-ibig, ewas ang sinangalan, alam ng puso, sa dibdib mo'y buhay. Lupang hinirang, tuyag ka ng mag-ibig, sa mandulupin, di ka pasisingil, sa nagatak putok sa simoy at sa langit ang bagaw, ay hinatang tula, kawin sa pagkayang minamahal. Ang isang ng matawad mo'y tagumpay na nag-iindig, ang bituin at araw niya kailan ang may di magdidinig. Luman ang araw ng walhagin pagsinta, buhay langit sa piling mo. Ang inigaya ng pagkay mga api, ang mamatay ng dahil sa'yo.
Again, welcome everyone. I'm John M.D. Mangahas, your webinar moderator for today's event. Let me introduce to you first who is DICT. The Department of Information and Communications Technology, or DICT, shall be the primary policy, planning, coordinating, implementing, and administrative entity of the executive branch of the government that will plan, develop, and promote the National ICT Development Agenda according to the Republic Act 10844. And now, here are the programs and projects of the department. We have ILCDB, or ICT Literacy and Competency Development Bureau, Free Wi-Fi for All, National Broad Plan, Government Emergency Communication System, IBPLS, Digital Jobs, PH, Tech for Ed, National Cybersecurity Plan, Philippine National Infrastructure, the Vaccine Information Management System, National Government Portal, Central Business Portal, GovNet, IIDB, or ICT Industry Development Bureau, and many more. And now, to deliver us the opening message, let's hear the recording video of the Regional Director of the ICT Region 3, Engineer Reynaldo T.C.
To our participants, I bid you a warm welcome. We are indeed honored to have you here with us. This webinar is initiated by the Department of Information and Communications Technology, Regional Office Number 3, through our respective provincial offices. In the pursuit of realizing digitally empowered citizens and communities, The DICT endeavors to harness information and communication technology skills in every Filipino through bridging digital literacy opportunities further into the countryside. The DICT focuses on achieving four goals: an ICT-enabled government, an ICT-enabled citizenry and workforce, more accessible and wider reach ICT, and a safer and more reliable ICT for every Filipino. This webinar is designed for students, teachers, local government employees, and even marginalized sectors in order to provide them with adequate knowledge and skills required to use technology safely, effectively, and responsibly. Through this webinar workshop, we hope this will provide a platform for sharing knowledge and expertise and for identifying lessons learned and best practices. I would like to take the opportunity to congratulate the ILCTV team since this was made possible by an agency known to provide every Filipino access to the ICT infrastructure and services. This is also to appreciate our resource persons for their service of sharing their expertise. On behalf of the DICT Region 3, we are delighted for taking your time and we truly appreciated your engagement in this program. In closing, I encourage everyone to participate actively in this interesting discussion. I wish everyone a success and fruitful day. Thank you and good day, everyone.
Thank you very much, our Regional Director, Engineer Reynaldo TC, for your warmest welcome. And good afternoon, our dear participants. And now this is the next slide. Yeah. And now this is the guidelines and reminder for our webinar. First, this webinar is recorded for documentation purpose and will be posted on YouTube or Facebook. Second, turn off your microphone and camera. Third, do not share your screen or do any annotations. Fourth, observe proper decorum and etiquette. Fifth, use the chat box for your questions. Sixth, certificates will be provided to those who have attended the total duration of the training and submitted all activities of the training, including the post-evaluation form. Seventh, input valid and active email address when filling out the post-evaluation form. And now, let's have our overview of our Virtual Assistants 101. First, it promotes confidence and gets you motivated in pursuing an online career. Second, it helps you better understand the ins and outs of applying your online jobs. Lastly, it gives you better chance to be successful in the freelancing industry. And now, welcome again to the Virtual Assistants 101, the basics. To introduce our resource person for today, she is a completer of the ICT GVA training last 2022, studied computer science at Divine College of Malolo City, and also former product trainer in Contrix, Philippines. She also has experience in general virtual assistance, social media management, paid advertising, and freelance QuickBook bookkeeper. Let us welcome Ms. Joanna Marie Evangelista.
Hello, everyone. I hope you can hear me clearly. My name is Joanna Marie, and I hope that you're having a great afternoon. Welcome to our webinar, where we're going to take a glance at one of the most in-demand job right now. So, next slide, please. All right. So, by the way, while we're waiting for the slide, I know that there are moments in life where we want to take, where we want to strike a balance between working and making money and having fun. So, learning how to work by being in the comfort of our home could be the answer if you want to be your own boss. You can finally have the freedom to design the ideas, balanced lifestyle you've been dreaming of by working as a virtual assistant. Next slide, please. Thank you. So now, all right. So, but first of all, we have to identify what is a virtual assistant. So, a virtual assistant is an independent contractor who works outside the client's office to provide administrative support to clients. A virtual assistant often works from their home office but have remote access to the planning tools they need, such as shared calendars and emails. All right. Next slide, please. All right. So, virtual assistant have gained popularity as more startup and small businesses use virtual office to cut expenses, and as companies of all sizes use the internet more frequently for day-to-day operations. Next slide, please. So again, that's the definition of a virtual assistant, where it is an independent contractor who works outside the office, the client's office, to provide administrative support to clients. We also often works from our home but have remote access to all the tools and client information that we need. So a virtual assistant may theoretically perform any task that would be performed by other support personnel. There are restrictions, but technology is providing more and more solution to get around those restrictions. But before we jump into more details on how to be a virtual assistant, let's first discuss on what is the difference between a virtual assistant from a corporate employee. Next slide, please. And next slide, thank you. Next slide, please. All right. So obviously, a virtual assistant and a full-time employee have some key distinctions, and they are the one that's listed below. So first is the working hours. Some business owners might permit their VAs or virtual assistant to work full-time jobs from anywhere. Others permit a more adaptable schedule, yet this adaptability could also require virtual assistant to work irregular hours, such as on weekends and holidays. A full-time employee, however, adheres to the usual 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. schedule. The next is location. A full-time employee goes to the office and handles all projects assigned to him in person. Again, this requires the employer to provide and maintain a workplace. However, a virtual assistant can work from any parts of the world or from anywhere, technically. The next is the office equipment. As a virtual assistant, we need to have our own equipment to do our job, such as computer, a stable internet connection, sometimes a backup is needed, and also a noise canceling headset, especially for those virtual assistant who need to take phone calls. Then healthcare. Most of the employers here in our country provides health care to their full-time employees to cover the cost of any dental and medical needs. While as a virtual assistant, clients those don't provide those healthcare support. And then one of the most important is taxes. Clients that hire virtual assistants are not responsible for their employees' taxes because they are hired as an independent contractor. Therefore, virtual assistants should file their own taxes as self-employed. Then lastly, workers' compensation. So, in the corporate world or in any full time job, especially in our country, employers cover the mandatory government contributions such as SSS, PhilHealth, and Pag-ibig, and other government mandated benefits for their employees. However, if you are an independent contractor, your clients are not required to provide those benefits. Next slide, please. Thank you. So a virtual assistant is also a person who typically self-employed and operates as a remote worker. This means that instead of being an employee of a company, the company is considered as a client. By being able to choose your work schedule and location is one of the main benefits of being a virtual assistant. Many of us have a specific room or area in our houses designated as our offices, our home office, where you can work quietly and without interruption. But let's go ahead and take a look at the other benefits that we can enjoy as a virtual assistant. First is we can manage our own schedule. So the ability to control your schedule is one of the most alluring perks of working remotely as a virtual assistant. As you are an independent contractor, you can perform clients on your availability. Once you have your own client, you can choose to work full-time, part-time, or even seasonally. This can enable you to achieve a better work-life balance and free up more your time for your favorite activities. Next is by setting your own rate. The advantage of having more control over your money is another perks of being a VA. To persuade your manager to give you a raise, you don't need to compile a large list of accomplishments. To draw customers and keep them satisfied, you must make sure that your rate reflects your value. That's the most important thing. If you're unsure of what your price ought to be, conduct regular market research to stay competitive. So going back to the rates, the usual rate of a virtual assistant, well, for me, the minimum is like around $4 per hour. Again, it's by hourly rate, $4 to $5 per hour, and sometimes it can goes up to $8 to $10 per hour. But still depends on your contract with your client because it could be an hourly rate or a fixed rate per month. Depends on the task and job that you're going to do for your client. Next is increased productivity and work life balance. Because just like what we discussed earlier, you will be able to manage your own schedule. And then lastly, working remotely. So, virtual assistant doesn't require trips to brick and mortar office. This means you can set up your workspace in the comfort of your own home. While many workers started working from home because of COVID-19 pandemic, you'll become a permanent remote worker as a virtual assistant and has the added benefits of being able to work more efficiently. All right, next slide, please. Thank you. So, virtual assistants are growing in popularity. They offer a range of services to business owners, including bookkeeping, accounting, customer support, and social media management. Small business owners frequently hire a virtual assistant to do anything from marketing travel plans to creating expense reports. So, now let's go ahead and take a look at the most common types of virtual assistants that are available in the market. Next slide, please. All right. So here's the list of the most common types of virtual assistants that you can do as well. So first is being an administrative virtual assistant. So all administrative tasks for both the business and the individual are handled by a virtual assistant. They are in charge of numerous duties like bookkeeping, email management, appointment setting, creating expense reports, and document filing. Also, they offer other common virtual assistant service like social media management and customer support. Next is bookkeeping virtual assistant. So for their employers' business, this virtual assistant focus in maintaining precise records. This virtual assistant might work for an accounting business or might work for themselves to several clients simultaneously or sometimes both. Typically, small business owners and financial team are supported by this remote workforce. The next is social media virtual assistant. So, for the benefit of their company, this virtual assistant is in charge of administrating social media profiles, like across all platforms. They monitor every post that the business makes on different social media sites. They produce posts, manage comments, and assign them to proper team members while all scheduling posts in advance. Additionally, they aid in choosing the right kind of materials to post and assess the impact on sales and audience reach. So for sure, you have your own social media and you're seeing advertisement on social media accounts, social media pages. So those are the tasks of a social media virtual assistant. Next is for real estate virtual assistant. So a real estate agent's office employs this virtual assistant. This provide a frequent assist to agents and their clients with the paperwork for showing the property, setting up appointments, fielding calls from prospective buyers and sellers. Next is also one of the most in demand right now, which is shopping and e-commerce virtual assistant. So for sure, you're familiar with Amazon and other online shopping platforms. So these virtual assistants, they help monitor all the items that a shopper has placed into their virtual shopping carts through affiliated link or other means. E-commerce VAs are expert in managing product lists and online shops such as Shopify, Amazon, Google Shop, and other applications. Next is being a blog virtual assistant. So, a virtual assistant is a beneficial for beginner bloggers. They handle all the technical and administrative duties involved in blogging. This virtual assistant can help set up your blog, maintain its security, assist you in producing high quality content, and schedule social media updates for it. And lastly, virtual assistant for customer service. So, of course, they provide customer support that can be found in wide range of businesses. They respond to all customer related emails, chat requests, or phone calls. All right. So by the way, guys, do you have any questions so far about the different types of virtual assistant before we move on to our next slide? Any questions so far? You can unmute if you want. Just let us know if you have questions, or you can also chime it in the chat box. None? Okay, so let's go ahead and move on. Next slide, please. All right, so we already have identified the different types of virtual assistant. So we already covered the benefits of being a VA. Now let's go ahead and take a closer look at what we would like to get ourselves into by getting deeper into the duties and responsibilities of being a VA, the basic tools, the commonly being used, and the niche or the type of industry that we would like to get to service. So first is for the duties and responsibilities of being a virtual assistant. Next slide, please. So that is the list of the usual or the common task of a virtual assistant, but it still varies, depends on the different types of business or the different type of business or clients that you're going to work with. Because remember, we have several types of virtual assistants and each of them have different tools, different tasks that they might ask a virtual assistant to do for them. Next slide, please. And now, if you're looking to become a virtual assistant, you might be asking yourself, what does a virtual assistant need? So, as you build your resume and portfolio, you need to make sure that this virtual assistant skills is listed so that you can hand a great job. So, first is good communication skills. Virtual assistants need to communicate clearly with clients and on behalf of their clients. So, first is a great or good English communication skills is a must, especially in English. The most common clients that you can find as a virtual assistants are based in the US. So we need to have at least great communication English skills. Next is time management. Successful virtual assistants are experts at managing time, both your own and your client's time. So, when working as independent contractor, you create your own schedule and decide when to take on your project or say yes to a new clients. So, as a virtual assistant, you need to complete your client's task on time, making sure that you stay caught up and finish all assignments. So, as we discussed earlier, as a virtual assistant, you can manage your own schedule. You can have multiple clients as much as you want. However, one of the main responsibility of being a VA is you need to make sure that you'll be able to complete all of the tasks that was assigned to you by your client. All right, next is organizational skills. So virtual assistants need to have a strong organizational skills. One of aspect of being a virtual assistant is keeping your administration task organized and you're on top of every deadline and don't miss any task. Because time is very important to our clients, so we need to make sure that we are at least meeting their deadlines. Next is excellent addition to details or excellent attention to details. So virtual assistants care about a little details when handling administrative tasks and project management for clients. Details orientation is a critical skill. So as a virtual assistant, clients rely on you to send error-free emails and to catch any mistake in presentation and other content before publishing. The next is knowledge of cloud-based apps. So tech savvy and basic understanding of IT are desirable traits of virtual assistants. You'll be working on a computer as a virtual assistant and you might need to use various collaborative tools and applications. The next is you have to be reliable. Reliability, it is a soft trait that clients and companies look when they are hiring a virtual assistant, especially if they're working for themselves. So businesses want to hire people that can rely on to provide assigned tasks on time without errors and to be accessible when needed. Setting up working hours for your clients and being accessible to take on new tasks and respond to inquiries are crucial when working as a virtual assistant, regardless whether you are free by the hour, by the project, or a retainer. Next is being creative. So, for many aspects of being a virtual assistant, from problem solving to content creation, creativity is a necessary talent. Everybody is creative in their own way. Some people may find it in writing, others might find have a strong preference for visual arts and graphic designs. You can integrate your creative capabilities into your skill set to become a better virtual assistant. Then last is being proactive. So this will give you a better close control over the future and will help you more relax as you work. Most, if not all, employers prefer a proactive remote assistant professional over someone who is just reactive. All right, next slide, please. So, as an aspiring virtual assistant, you must be familiar with the tools that your clients may require you to use. So, here are the most common tools that's being used by most virtual assistants. So me myself, I'm also using all those tools that have listed there. So first is on communication. We have Slack. It's like a messaging app, and then Microsoft Teams. And then next is for video conferencing. We use Zoom, Skype, GoToMeetings. Sometimes we also use a VoIP service. It's like a phone call, so that it's like a virtual phone, so that people from the US can give you a ring or could text you even though you're here in the Philippines. The next, for those who would like to be a to be a bookkeeper, virtual assistant, these are the tools, the common tools that's in demand right now, which are QuickBooks, Zero, and Soho Books. For time tracking, we have HubStuff and Time Doctor. Just to give you a reminder for this time tracking app, they also took screenshots of your computer so they can monitor all the things that you do into your computer, because the client also want to make sure that you're really doing the job and not just browsing, YouTube or Netflix. Okay, so thank you for your questions, guys. We're going back to them after we finish the slide. So going back, we have for scheduling appointments, we have Calendly and simplybook.me. So this is an app where if someone would like to have a scheduled meeting with you, it's very efficient that you use Calendly or Simply Book Me, because how it works is that they're just going to visit your link, and then they will have the option to select your availability. They can enter their email address, phone number, and it will automatically create a Zoom link so that you can just go in and hop on a meeting. Next is password management. We have LastPass, Dashlane, and Zoho Vault. So for password management, of course, some clients are not comfortable in providing their login credentials. So the use of LastPass is that they will just give you a link or give you an invite so that you can access a certain platform, for example, online banking or a certain login credentials for email. So you don't need to have the password, because they will going to provide you a last pass access for that. So it will be automatically entered and you can just go in and get in. Next is file sharing and document management. We have Dropbox and Google Drive. Those are the most common. So going back to the questions that we have on the chat box, first is Arnell is asking if we need to have a paid subscription. So I think a paid subscription for most of the tools that we have here are subscription. For example, the Zoom, you can go in and use it for free. However, they also have subscription. So mostly we can go ahead and we can go ahead and use the um free service of these applications. However, for those paid subscription, because there are two ways in how you can get how you can land a job as a virtual assistant. It could be through being an independent contractor, or you're going to be hired under a certain agency. So your agency, for example, or client should provide you the subscription for those tools, and it's not going to be shouldered under your pocket unless you would like to use a VoIP, because I myself is using a VoIP service. It's like an online phone, so that my clients from the US can directly call me, and I'm shouldering that myself. But for other subscription, let's say QuickBooks, that is a subscription service. So your clients need to have their own subscription, and they will just give you an access. So Casey is also asking if it's safe to use, if LastPass is safe to use. Yes, it is. I have so many clients that also been using that. So, and that is the one of the most efficient way to share password to any of their employees. And yes, Dropbox is good. We could also put password on a certain document or file if you would like to share it. Also for the voice over IP, yeah, so for the VoIP service. Again, that is a subscription. If you would, it's optional if you would like to use a VoIP service, because um, there's a lot of communication tools available right now. We have Skype, we have Zoom, we have emails, and it's really optional if you would like to have a VoIP service. Common rates of a VoIP service is like around 150 per year. I mean, it's $150 per year. So it's just really optional if you prefer to have a VoIP service. So Muneka is also asking if it's beneficial to get training certificates like QuickBooks and Zero to have clients. Uh, well, it's actually optional, because clients are, well, the usual American clients, they don't usually look at certificates, or yeah, they're like the Pro Advisor program. So they don't usually look at the certificates, and Sometimes background credentials are not really that important to them as long as you have the skills and you can show to your clients that you have the capability to do the job, then it's already good with them. Because for sure before they employed you, you're going to have like an interview with your clients, and then you can showcase what you've got, are the things that you know about the task that they would like you to do. And yeah, so basically it's also optional. It's good to have a certificate, but it's really optional. Vonage support here in the Philippines, not that sure. For the 800 toll free number, and even you don't have a toll free number, that's fine, because for example for me what I'm using is just like a simple subscription from, let me just get back with that. So my VoIP service that I'm using is one of the most cheapest, but one of the most reliable, which is Open Phone. So that's the one that I'm using. So it has a web access, it has an app, so that if ever that I have a client in the US who needs, clients are in US and Canada that would like to give me a phone call, they're just going to just dial my number, just like how we do it here in the Philippines, and then they can just go ahead and give me a call or send me a text message, and I will receive it real time as long as I have an internet connection, of course. So, any more question before we move on to our next slide? All right, so I'll take that as a none. So let's go ahead and move on our next slide, please. Thank you. So with the rise of the digital age, more and more businesses are looking for virtual assistants, so to help them with a wide range of tasks. But not all virtual assistant jobs are created equal. Some niches are in higher demands than other, so it's important to choose one that you're familiar with and the one that you can market yourself well in. So that's why we have put together a list of 13, or the list of best virtual assistant niches that are high in demand right now. So first is social media management. Again, this could involve the task of creating content, scheduling posts, managing ads, analyzing data, and more. You need to be well versed in all different kinds of social media platforms and have excellent in writing and marketing skill to succeed in this niche. Because again, for example, you're already for sure you're already familiar on the advertising that we have right now in the social media, such as in Facebook ads. We also have LinkedIn ads, YouTube ads, Instagram, and Twitter. They also have ads there in Twitter. Next is customer service. So virtual assistant can also provide customer service support to businesses. You will be expected to handle customer service inquiries, complaints, question via phone, email, or live chat. So as for this type of virtual assistant, for sure clients is already using a CRM or a customer management tool where you can have access to all of their details, to all of their customer details, where you can answer inquiries and emails. Next is for project management. So these are the virtual assistant that help businesses with project management tasks, such as creating project plans, setting deadlines, tracking progress, and more. So there's a lot of responsibility involved in this niche. So it's important to be highly organized and detail oriented. Then virtual bookkeeping. So for those has QuickBooks experience right there, or accountants. So this might be good for you, that because what you're going to do here is you're just going to offer a bookkeeping service to businesses. The task involves tracking expenses, preparing invoices, reconciling accounts, and more. And then next is web development. Virtual assistant in web development skills can offer a wide range of service to business, such as creating and managing website, developing e-commerce stores, creating landing pages, and more. If you're familiar with HTML, CSS, JavaScript, and other web development language, this could be the perfect virtual assistant niche for you. Then the SEO. So virtual assistant with SEO or search engine optimization skills help businesses to improve their website ranking on search engines like Google and Bing. And the task may include keyword research, link building, and content optimization. For sure, you're already browsing your Google Chrome and Bing, those common browser. And when you type a certain keywords or you're looking for something, that is the task of the SEO that they need to make sure that the website that they are promoting is on the top or on the first line of the Google search ads. Well, next is data entry. So it is the most common data entry VA. You're going to be responsible for inputting data into database and spreadsheet. So this could involve tasks such as transcribing data from paper documents, scanning receipts, and more. Then travel planning. So virtual assistant with experience in travel planning can help business with their trips, booking flights, hotel, and arrange for transportation. And then next is transcription. So transcription is another popular virtual assistant job. To become a transcriptionist VA, you would be responsible for transcribing audio or video files into text documents. Then administrative tasks. So this help businesses to with a wide range of administrative tasks such as scheduling appointments, managing email, preparing documents, and more. Then the blog management. Virtual assistant with blog management experience can help businesses with tasks such as creating and scheduling blog posts, managing comments, adding image, and more. Proofreading and editing. So virtual assistant with this kind of skills um, can help businesses with tasks such as proofreading documents, editing blog posts, and more. And then lastly, the Amazon VA, the one that we covered earlier. So an Amazon VA is responsible for managing an Amazon seller's account. This could involve tasks such as product listing, responding to customer inquiries, processing order, and more. So there are many other assistant niche out there, but these are some of the most common, popular, and in-demand ones. So if you're thinking of becoming a VA, choose a niche that you're familiar with and that you can market yourself well in. So, by the way, going back to the job box, we have some question out there. First is how we can further improve our skills, especially with regards in the niche in a virtual assistant. Again, we first you have to identify which specific VA you want to be. Do you want to be a social media management VA? Do you want to be a bookkeeping VA? So first is you have to assess your skills. So am I good in social media? Am I good in bookkeeping? Am I good in travel management? Am I good in in developing website? Then you start from there. And if you know that you have to improve, then there's a lot of trainings that you can browse. You can find some in Udemy. I think they offer some of the courses in Udemy, but the DICT as well also offer courses. They offer a wide range of courses actually of a VA. If you want to be a more experienced or skillful VA, they offers a lot from being a general virtual assistant where I came from. I graduated there last year, and they also offer social media management, and I think they have a lot of courses that you can attend, and that's for free, and it's training with DICT is very enticing, and for sure you're gonna learn more with it. Next is for the transcription. They're using Chat GPT. As for transcription, there's really a lot of tools that you can use where you can just upload the video or audio and then it will be automatically transcribed into text. So that's one of the tools that you can use. There are free versions and there are subscriptions for those tools, but that's very helpful to use because all you have to do is to proofread afterwards. You don't really need to listen to all of it, but you have to do in the end, probably just for you to proofread the text, make sure that the computer or the system got it right. Yeah, social media management is a good and hot stuff, really. As for the recording or copy of the PowerPoint, I think it's being recorded and it's going to be shared via YouTube. And for sure, they will send out copies of the link so that you can watch again the webinar that we had today. So Maria has a question. Will the client remotely access your laptop? Well, I don't think there's a need to. Um, or it actually probably depends, but based on my experience being a virtual assistant for years, I never had a client who needs to remotely access my laptop, like they're going to control it. Um, Maybe depends on a certain task. For example, you're doing bookkeeping, like they have to take a look on what you're doing on your screen. Well, you can just go in and provide screenshot or jump on a Zoom call with them, have a screen share. But I don't really recommend clients remotely accessing the laptop or remotely accessing my laptop. I might not be comfortable with that, and the client might not be comfortable with that as well if you're doing it to them. So is it really required having a AWS certificate if you want to be an Amazon VA? I don't think it is still necessary because again, clients in the or business persons in the US, they are really after the skills of the person that they're hiring. Having a certificate is not really a guarantee that you have the knowledge and the skills that they want. Well, that's what I felt upon working with several business US business owners. So they don't. It's not that they don't value. It's just that they are more interested in knowing the person more or knowing their VA more with their skills, and that they are not just really basing on a printed certificate. Question from Glyza: is it required to be an accounting graduate for bookkeeping? The answer is no. Just to give you a heads up, I'm also doing a VA, bookkeeping virtual assistant for QuickBooks clients. So I'm not an accounting graduate. Just to give you a background of of my education, I'm a nursing student way back, and then I switched my course to um, computer science, so not really related to accounting at all. I learned how to use QuickBooks when I landed my first job way back in 2016 in Concentrix. So QuickBooks is our client back then, and then that's where it started being equipped on how to use QuickBooks, everything from technical to accounting, from customer support, and then that's what I applied because again, certificates um, are not really that important to them. The important thing is you have the skills, you know what you're doing, and you know the job, and you know how to do the job very well. So, question from Rose: do we need to register my freelancing services, example on VIR? Well, it is recommended, yes, because of course for tax purposes. Because but from what I know, there's just a certain limit if you're about to pay the taxes. I think they have a threshold for freelancing services or for independent contractor or freelancers. So for medical VA, what are the tasks that they usually do? Do you need to be a nursing grad if you would like to become one? So for the medical VA, from what I can see online, um, they just need to have not really a nursing graduate, but you need to have at least a medical background because remember the terms on the medical industry is not. I mean, it could be jargon for someone else or from an ordinary person who doesn't understand medical terms. So you need to just be familiar with the medical terms. So at least um, have a medical background if you would like to be a medical VA. So question from NECA: if the training of the DICT is face to face, um, I think it's hybrid, but on my on my experience, when I had a training at DICT, it's online, pure online. So we just have a face to face during our graduation. All right. What would you recommend to improve English communication skills? So, well, there's a lot of things that you can do if you would like to improve your communication skills. But first is um, try to record yourself, because for sure all of us know how to speak in English. Sometimes we're not just really confident how to speak the language, because it's not common that you're going to speak English every day unless you're working on a BPO or you have someone to talk to that's really in English. So tips is that you watch more English movies because you can learn more and understand, and then have yourself recorded, listen to it, and then for sure while listening to yourself, you'll be able to identify what's wrong, the accent. And another one is there are trainings for, it's not English 101, but like it's like it's pretty similar to call center training. I remember Testa back in the days that they also offer call center training, and that's for free. So, and I'm not sure if the ICT also offers that communication skills or communication skills training, but for sure those are accessible. But if you're going to apply, for example, on a general virtual assistant training, trainers in virtual assistant might also provide you some tips or some coaching, especially if you need to have some improvement with your English communication skills. So again, take advantage of those training that the government offers because they are free and you're gonna learn a lot from them. QuickBooks Pro or Enterprise depends on the client. That depends on what is the bookkeeping platform that your client is going to use. Um, Most of the clients that I have for bookkeeping, they're using QuickBooks Online because again, for if you're using a desk for those who would like to be a virtual assistant for bookkeeping company or bookkeeping service, QuickBooks Desktop Pro or anything that is desktop is you have to exchange the file back and forth, while in QuickBooks Online it's just having an online platform, so it's very accessible. You and your clients can use it at the same time so that it will be easier for you to collaborate. So again, it depends on what is the platform that your client is going to use. Do I really need to have a high processing laptop? Um, I'm not saying that it should be high processing laptop, but as long as it is fast and you have a strong internet connection, then that is already good. The duration of the course for DICT courses, it actually varies from the course. Um, like for example, I started October, October, and then I think it's just gonna be like 2 months training at least, but it's really flexible. I remember a schedule back then is from 1 p.m. to 5 p.m. in the afternoon, and then I have work at night from 8:30 to 5:30 in the morning. So I'm working at night, I rest in the daytime. I mean, I'm sleeping in the daytime, but then if it's already 1 o'clock, I know that I have my class. I was able to sleep well and ready to attend my training, ready to learn more. But all of the schedules that they have in DICT is very flexible. And I have some classmates back then that they have full-time jobs, but they can still attend the training. But it's not every day that you're going to attend the training. Probably depends on the course that you're going to be enrolled in. But the schedule is pretty flexible, depends on the availability of the trainees or the enrollees. But it's not. But for sure, it's not going to be every day. It could be every other day. Could be by weekends. But again, it's flexible for sure. Please watch out for the dates. For sure, they're going to release some dates on when are they going to have training for general virtual assistant and for social media management. All right. So if you don't have any other question, maybe we can go ahead and take a quick break before we move on to our next slide or before we continue with our webinar. So let's go ahead and take a 15-minute break and then let's reconvene at 3:15. Okay? Is that okay with you guys? All right. Thank you. So let's have a 15-minute break and see you again later.
for our participant is the webinar code for your attendance that
Hello, is everyone back? All right. So I hope that you enjoy your 15-minute break. Okay, let's just wait for the slide. All right. So now we're going to start. Um, we're going to discuss on the ways on how you can start your virtual assistant career. All right. Next slide, please. And for sure, you're going to have a lot of questions, but let's park it for now. And then we're going to have a session later where we are going to have a Q&A where we're going to answer all of your questions and inquiries. Okay? All right. So there are two ways on how you can start your virtual assistant career. So first is it's through an agency. We're going to be responsible, where they are going to be responsible for getting for getting a client for you, and you're going to be under a contract under that agency, and you're not allowed to have multiple clients with that. You can also be an independent virtual assistant, where you are going to be your own boss. However, you are responsible for prospecting for your clients. So there is really a big difference in being a virtual assistant hired by under an agency and being an independent. First is with the rate. Yes, you can give your rate. Let's say your rate is you want $5 per hour for your service, but the agency is pricing it more to the client, and it's not gonna be paid directly to you. So the agency is like a middle person between a client and a virtual assistant, and it's not really allowed to have multiple clients under an agency. They're going to provide you the tools that you need, such as the time tracking tools, because they're the one that's tracking your time. The agency is the one that's going to pay you, or and not the client directly. Well, being an independent, well, the good thing about being an agency, they're going to look for the clients on your behalf, so there's no need for you to do anything. While being an independent, you're going to talk directly to the client, and you two going to negotiate on what your pricing would be, or your hourly rate would be. So the next slide, please. So this one is very important, the things to remember in becoming a virtual assistant. So first is you have to identify your skills. So just like what we discussed earlier, identifying your strongest skills is the first step towards of becoming a virtual assistant. Even you have very little experience, an employer will see that you are qualified for the position if your resume emphasize your administrative skills. So, or all the strongest skills that you have, make sure that you have it present on your resume. Next is define the service, your offer, and your rate. So by being aware of the duties you can and are willing to complete in advance, you can be a more effectively target. You can effectively target potential clients and obtain employment. You should decide on your rates in addition to defining your service. While some virtual assistants are being paid hourly, daily, weekly basis, and others are being paid by each task. And then next is obtain any necessary equipment. So by knowing the services that you'll offer, it will also help you determine what kind of equipment you'll need to perform to do those services. Some virtual assistants may use only their laptop and cell phone, but depending on the type of work and the number of tasks that you can accept, you may need additional computers. Sometimes it's needed. Monitors, you might need to have multiple monitors, two at least, if you're doing a lot of tasks, or phones. And all virtual assistant, there's a number one rule that you need to have a reliable internet connection, or at least have a backup if your main internet connection fails or doesn't have any signal at all. Next is building a portfolio. So as you gain expertise as a virtual assistant, solicit feedback from your clients and compile a portfolio of client testimonials and examples of your work. So by demonstrating your abilities, building this portfolio will probably help you get more clients and better paying job. So if you are new to virtual assistant, you can just highlight your skills and strengths. And then last is market yourself. Your capability to market your service is essential to your success as a virtual assistant. To be found online, use your professional photo and social media presence to show off your work and expertise to potential clients and make your own website. So that is one of the challenges that I had back in the days, which is making my own website. I've been doing freelancing for a few years, but I never learned to have my own website because I felt like it's complicated. Dealing with the computer language is for me it's difficult. That's why I never really tried to make my own website. I have social media accounts like pages in Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and Twitter. But for the website, I just learned how to make a website through the ICT training. So and again, that's for free. Even the website creation is free. The platform is free. And then all you have to do, it's like filling up a template. And then all you have to do is it's like put in your information, just organize it a little bit, and then you can have it published. So that's one of the skills that I'm really thankful that I've learned because that really helps me a lot to market myself, especially for those clients who just found me on Google and then they saw the website, they contact me, and then they became a client. So again, it's important to take advantage of the social media that we have right now and the trainings as well to make sure that you'll be able to increase your social media presence. And you also need to be consistent when it comes to updating your social media accounts, like posting every day or every other day can help you build a strong online presence. All right. So again, being a virtual assistant is not that easy, but is one of the best job that we can do, especially for those people who want to manage their own time and don't want to commute to work. I remember my experience back in the days when I was working in a BPO industry in Manila. I'm actually from Bulacan, so it's really challenging for me to travel every day back and forth. So I'm spending like 2 or 3 hours to commute to work every day. So, and I found it very thankful that I start my journey being a virtual assistant. That really saves me a lot of time. I don't need to eat and sleep on the bus anymore or complete my sleep on the bus because, for example, because working from home is just really amazing. Like you just have to wake up at least 30 minutes before my shift and then it's good to go. Just make sure that you have a strong internet connection and um, a good computer that you can use. So we just have to make ourselves equipped with the right skills. And with the competition that we have right now in the virtual assistant industry, we must be competitive and we must stand out from the rest. Um, for me, it's not really enough that you have just one skills because again, there is a lot of virtual assistant. There's a lot that would like to be a virtual assistant. Some of them have multiple skills. So it's really not enough that you just want to be, well, it's good that you want to be a general VA, but you also need to have yourself open to learning other things. Like for example, as you can be a general VA, but together with it's being a general VA, you also know on how to do like social media, bookkeeping, because the more skills that you have, the more competitive that you will be. For example, myself, I'm a general VA. I started as a general VA, and then I also add my QuickBooks experience. Then I also start accepting clients that would like to do their bookkeeping. I also do social media management. I run paid advertisement. So aside from managing the social media platforms of my clients, I also run ads in different platforms from Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Bing, and Google, and sometimes LinkedIn, depends on the client. So once your client find out that, hey, this virtual assistant has multiple things that you can do, then for sure that's gonna be a big plus for your client, and there's no need for them to hire any additional VA or employee, because you can do all of those tasks, and then you can make your rate a little bit higher, but not too high. um, and the next is, but how are we going to do that? How are we going to be a competitive VA? Again, we must always improve, upgrade, and learn new skills. Let's take advantage of the free training courses that being offered, especially by the DICT, because it's very ideal for different types of learners. So we have different types of learners. We have the visual learners, the one that you're comfortable just reading the slides. We have the auditory learners. Those are the learners that learn more by just listening. And we have the kinesthetic learners. So kinesthetics are just like myself, a kinesthetic learner as well. So I learn as I do the things, as I do like hands-on. So the trainings that they had in the SCT, as on my experience, is that it's very great. Like as they teach the skills, you'll be able to acquire it yourself as well. So again, I myself was a product of Digital Jobs PH by the ICT, where they offered, or when they offered, general virtual assistant training in our municipality last year. I've been doing virtual assistant for years, and I just settled from what I already know back then. But when I was doing my training, I just really got amazed that there's really more to learn on being a virtual assistant. And that really helps me a lot to improve not just my skills, but also my career. So I hope that you guys learned something out of the webinars that we have today. So I think we can now open the floor for the Q&A session. So just raise your hands if you do you have questions, or you can also type it on the chat box. So Kenneth.
Before we go in the Q&A session, our dear participants, here is the webinar code for your attendance so that you can answer the post-evaluation form. Our technical person will flash the webinar code for 2 minutes only, so please copy it immediately. Thank you.
All right, guys, make sure that you copy the code and then later I think they're going to flash or provide the evaluation link. All right, let's just wait for the display. Let's just wait for a few more minutes for the evaluation form, and then after that we can go ahead and start with the Q&A. So please make sure that your questions are posted, or just make your hands up on the reaction button, and then we'll going to attend to your questions.
So we will proceed in the Q&A in 30 seconds. Thank you. And now we will proceed to the question and answer portion. Kindly type all your questions and clarification you would like to be addressed by our resource speaker in the chat box. Asan ito? Okay. Unang tanong po para kay Lilet. how many months usually is the contract given by the client for an independent VA?
For the contract, it actually depends on the agreement between you and the client because there are some projects that will just last for like a month or 2 months, or but there are some clients that needs a long-term VA in replace of their like onshore personnel that they have. So it really depends on your clients. I have some clients way back that our contract lasts for 1 year. Sometimes it will last for 2 years, and so still depends on the needs of the business.
Okay. Next is Yan. Next is Almacher. Is there any age limit for virtual assistants like in corporate? Is there a chance that those advanced in year like 50 had chance to land a VA career?
Um, Well, for VAs, they don't really have like age bracket when it comes to the employees that they're going to hire. It's not like you're in the Philippines that you can just apply for a certain job, like your age is from like this to this. But in the virtual assistant career, there's really no age limit. As long as you have the skills, as long that you can really help your client, then and you have the right tools, then you're good to go.
Okay, thank you. The next question is from Arnel Gruspe. Do we need to get business license to be a VA? How do we deal with gross receipt tax, SS, PhilHealth, etc.?
Okay, thank you. So as for that, again, us as virtual assistants, we are like independent contractors or freelancers. So as per the taxes, we have to file it as a self-employed, same as for the SSS, PhilHealth, and some other government mandated benefits. So comparing it to the corporate world, remember if you're going to be applied in a certain company here in the Philippines, um, everything is being processed by the HR of that particular company, right? So everything is already being deducted in our salary. So as an independent contractor, as a VA, the money will came straight from the clients going to your account, and now it's your responsibility to pay and process all of your government mandated benefit. It's up to you if you would like to, but it's still encouraged because um, freelancers are very welcome to do the SSS as a self-employed. As for PhilHealth, still very helpful, and for pag-ibig, especially for the taxes, again, there's a certain bracket for that. You have to apply it as a freelancer or self-employed, and then the tax paper itself is useful, especially if you would like to obtain a loan from the bank, because that is a proof that you're really earning something, even though as a freelancer.
Okay, thank you. And for the next question, from Stephanie Rose Basilio, should the internet connection be wired connection or is Wi-Fi enough?
Depends on how fast your internet is. So mine is well, sometimes Wi-Fi can be interrupted, right? So I prefer to use wired connection, even though I have to use a very long wire because our internet is in the kitchen. I'm in my room, so it's kind of far, like 15 meters, I think. So I am really comfortable with a wired connection because it's much stronger with a wired connection. But Wi-Fi is also good because, for example, our internet is down. I have to use hotspot, so that's being powered by a Wi-Fi. So it's also good. Again, just make sure that the internet connectivity is strong. Make sure that you do speed tests before you start your shift, so that you know if there will be any interruption, or watch out for if there's any like announcement from your internet provider.
Thank you again. And from Miss Glyza C. Douglas, may required specs po ba sa laptop dapat gamitin?
Um, Not really necessary. Well, employers or clients don't really care about the specs of your laptop, whether you have a very, very old computer or a high-tech Mac. As long as it's fast enough to do your work. Um, because for sure, as a VA, like I myself, I've been using a lot of tools. So I have a lots of apps open. So I want my work partner to work efficiently, fast, so that I can do my job well.
Okay. For the next questions from Lilet, how many months usually is the contract given by the client for an independent VA?
Again, it depends on your agreement with the client.
Next is from Lilet again. Based on your experience, do you have also clients from Philippines or Filipinos who ask for a service VA?
As from my experience, I never had a Filipino client. Most of the clients that I had was in the US. Probably because of my expertise, which is a QuickBooks specialist. Most of the clients that I have are in the US.
Next questions from Romel. How many niche or skills you need to be effective and proficient in this career?
Well, there's really no specific number of skills that you should have, but just think about your competitors. So let's say that there's a lot of VAs right now. Some of them have multiple skills. So think yourself as the employer. Are you going to hire someone that just have one skill available, or someone that has multiple skills, which you think is valuable for your business? That's why we are really encouraging everyone to get yourself equipped as much as you can. But don't pressure yourself. Again, make sure to apply the course that you're comfortable doing, jobs that you're comfortable executing for your clients, and make sure to practice it well so that you will be effective.
Next is from Julius Apa. Facebook ads offers a lot virtual jobs. How do you know that the ads is legit and not scam?
Oh, probably you're referring to the job advertisement that's spreading online. Whereas I'm also part of those group of virtual assistants. Some of them are looking for jobs. Some of them are posting for jobs. So how do you identify if it's a scam? Um, Make sure to have a conversation with the employer via Zoom. Not just settled for those clients who just want to talk to you in Telegram, or well, Skype is okay, but for me, clients that are just going to talk to you in Telegram is just like I don't know, I just not feel comfortable, and I don't feel that they are legit, because you as an employer, if you're going to hire someone, for sure you want to talk to them face to face, right? So have a meeting with their client, learn more about their business, learn more about the terms, like what are the tasks that you would like to do, the rates, and you're gonna settle from there. You're gonna feel if the person that you were talking to is lying, or they are not really to what they're saying.
Okay, thank you. And next is from Pearl. Can we be a virtual assistant part-time?
Yeah. Again, the schedule of a virtual assistant is pretty flexible. Uh, if you're going to work directly with the client, you can negotiate with the time, with the schedule. And if you would like to work under a virtual assistant agency, it's also fine. Most of them are offered part-time posts.
Okay, thank you. Next is from Julius Cesar Estomata. Any recommended agency or websites that caters to beginners?
Um, you mean virtual assistant agency, where there's really a lot, like Cyberbacker is one of the largest. Um, Remote VA. Um, that's one of the one as well. Sales QE. Um, yeah, there's really tons of agency that you can apply, and you can see that, and make sure that before you applied in any of those agency, make sure that you browse their website first, check on the job description that they offer, and um, make sure that you fit well on the description that they're looking for. But there's really tons of virtual assistant agency right now.
Okay, next from Almachar. It is advisable to have multiple clients.
Depends on your capability. It depends if you can handle multiple clients, or how many clients do you can you handle, because um for example, you have a client that they don't really need to work with you for like every on a day on a daily basis, like an 8-hour shift a day. So like I myself, I have a client before that she just need me every Friday to meet her with the social media accounts, check on the updates. So I just have one client on Friday, and then I still have room or entertain other clients where I can work like for 8 hours or 4 hours during the daytime, or from Monday to Thursday. So it's pretty flexible.
Thank you. And for the next questions from Carlos, does clients requiring backup ISP in case primary connection got down?
Um, Clients don't really, it's not that they don't prefer for you to have a backup, but um, they just don't really care. For me, they just don't really care. Well, as long as you can do your job, well, for you, you know to yourself that, hey, if I'm absent today, if I don't have an internet connection, I won't be able to do my job. I'm not going to get paid. So make sure that you have a backup connection, so that if your main internet is not working, then at least you have a backup. You can still go to work. You can still do your task. You can still please your client, and for sure they will keep you.
Okay, next question from Rona Jane Alad. How many months is the training to become a VA?
I think for the TACT, they offered it for like 2 months. As far as I remember, 2 months, but it's on a pretty flexible schedule. So our schedule is like Monday, Thursday, and Saturday for like 1, 2, 3, 4 hours a day. So it's pretty flexible, at least 2 months.
Next question for Arlene. Is there any free training with certificates for a newbie?
Yes, and the ACT is a very good answer for that. So the ACT is an answered prayer for those um aspiring virtual assistants, especially if you're a newbies, because you're going to learn everything from them, just like what I did in the past.
Okay, next from Maria Fideles Salonga. It is all right to ask a lot of questions from the client.
Depends on what are the questions that you're going to ask to your client. So, of course, before you meet a client, make sure that once your client reach out to you, or you reach out to the client, make sure that you know everything about their business. You at least know their owners, what they do, what is their business all about, so that it won't feel like you just face someone and don't really know anything about it. So again, before you face the client, make sure that you have at least a lot of information about them, the job posts, or the job posts that they are, or the employee, the type of employee that they are looking, and what type of business do they have, because business owners are really proud when they are discussing about their business, and when they found out that you are really interested with them, that sparked their interest as well.
Okay, next from Stephanie Rose Basilio. Hi ma'am, as doing a bit of research in VA groups, I realized that when they have a job posting and they require you to pay a fee, then it's totally scam. Do you second this, Ma'am Joanna?
Yes. Yeah, like hey, I'm looking for a job, and why are you asking me to pay you? So that's crazy. That's a scam for sure.
Next from Lilith. What is the mode of payment used by the clients in paying VAs?
Oh, there's a lot of payments available right now in the market. So number one of them is PayPal. That's the most accessible for them. They also have Veem. Um, very random, very seldom the clients ask for direct transfer to your account. But again, the most popular is PayPal, and then next is Veem. Let me check the other one that I used in the past. Hang on, because I had three. The other one is Wise. Yeah, Wise. Wise, PayPal, and Veem. Those are the most common. And I had an experience before where a client pays me via Bitcoin. If you're familiar with Bitcoin, because when I was part of an agency or a marketing company, and we also do crypto, we also trade crypto, so they prefer to pay me via cryptocurrency as well. So it's just exciting because you can go ahead and encrypt the crypto and make sure that the value goes up first before you turn it into cash. But most common is Wise, Beam, and PayPal.
Okay, next. From Arnel Gruspe. 16 GB lang ang default. Asan na? Wala. Again, 16 GB lang ang default Google Drive size. Do you advise to get a paid subscription like 1 TB perhaps?
Not really. Me on my virtual assistant career, I don't really get tons of subscription for my tools. I think the only tools that I'm paying is the VoIP service annually. As for the Google Drive, there's really a lot of cloud storage that you can use. We have OneDrive, we have Google Drive, and sometimes if there are files from the client that you have to keep, or there is a specific file that your clients need to share, for sure they have their own um, cloud service platform where they keep their files, and they just need to add you there as the user so that you can access it. There's no need for you to like copy the file, save to your computer, or move it on your own cloud drive.
Okay, next. From Patrick Rodrigo. Does VA have the same job description with call center agents? If not, in which aspect do they differ?
It's totally different because as a former call center employee, I go into the office, answer phone calls, follow whatever they want us to do, like as a call center agent. But then the difference is that being a virtual assistant, you just focus and following one person, which is your client. The orders are coming directly from the client going to you, and then schedule wise, it's pretty flexible. There's no need for you to go into the office. You can just go ahead and work remotely.
Okay, next from Mitch Bugtong. Based on your opinion, which is the most profitable niche for VA? Profitable.
Profitable niche, actually all of them are profitable, but the most trending nowadays is like the bookkeeping, social media management, paid advertising, and the Amazon VA or the e-commerce section.
Okay, next from Monica Pilari. I'm taking project management under the ICT. Can this be a VA niche po ba?
Yeah, again, there are some clients that looking for a project management VA. So at least you have a background, you have like you're gonna have a good training ground in the ICT. You're gonna have for sure obtain a lot of skills that you can somehow use for your future employment or when you start sourcing for your clients.
Okay, next is for Lore Ian. What are the requirements po para sa course ng VA sa DICT?
Specific requirements. I really can't remember the specific requirements that I had back then because, as I remember it clearly, I saw their job post one time from our municipality webpage. I just fill up the form. I just submit an ID. I'm not sure if I submitted. I think I submitted a resume. Just for them to have a sort of background of who I am, and just that it. That's it. Make sure that you have the schedule to attend the training. You have the time, and you're really dedicated to do the training because it's going to be being screened. They are just going to select several person to attend the training, so you have to make sure that once you're selected, you're gonna put your heart into it.
And for next, from Lilette, is it easy to open PayPal account in the Philippines? Does it have an initial deposit or amount upon opening? Also, does it need maintaining balance?
um no, it doesn't have any maintaining balance, and it's easy to open a PayPal here in the Philippines. Make sure that you just sign up with your email address. Make sure that you verify, and then you can just simply connect your bank to PayPal. But still, you can go ahead and keep the money on PayPal. But of course, we want to transfer it on our bank, so it's very simple to connect your PayPal to GCash. That's efficient because you can go ahead and transfer the funds easily.
Okay, next from Maria Fideles. Is it proper to include your rate in the resume?
No, that's a big no-no. So rate is only being discussed once you already have an agreement with your client, or once you start negotiating with a task that they would like you to do. Because for sure the client would initiate how much is your rate, how much this project will cost you, or how much this project will cost. So again, it's not being discussed upon you introducing yourself to the client. It's being discussed while you are negotiating with the client.
Okay, thank you. And from the last question, Eileen Yangal. What is your backup internet, and in case of power interruption, what is your plan on this scenario? Thanks in advance.
Um, so on my end, on my setup, I have Converge as my main internet provider. So if ever that Converge doesn't have any signal at all, I have my mobile phone. I can just go ahead and do the hotspot. But one of the challenges that I'm encountering is the power interruption. So I have one laptop, I have one extra laptop that I'm not using them both at the same time. So it's just like a backup connection if ever that we don't have any power interruption. But if there's no really means for you to have a power, a secondary power source, then just let your clients know that, hey, we're having some um power interruption right here. I may not be able to do some of my tasks today, but I'll make sure to catch up once the electricity is back. Just make sure that you're gonna be transparent to your client so that they won't feel that you just neglect them.
Okay, next from Maria Jess Aquino. What is the minimum rate we can offer? Because nowadays I saw some clients offering 3 USD per hour.
Um, Rate again, it still depends. Um, some rates are gonna be like, yeah, lower on the $3 per hour, $3 per hour. But what are the tasks that you are going to do with that $3 per hour? What are the tasks that they would like you to do with the 3 hours? Is it just a simply data entry or transcription? Maybe there's nothing wrong in starting with a very low rate. But if the task that you're going to do is like heavy bookkeeping, social media management, paid advertising, then their average rate should be at least, I think the lowest is $5 per hour.
Okay.
But it's
Next que-
okay. But it's okay to start with $3. For example, the task is just very easy. It's just very simple, because it's also a way for you to gain some experience.
Okay, next question from Monica Pilari. Since clients are outsourcing VAs, ibig sabihin po ba it's cheaper to get a VA than getting a regular employee? Is it possible to be a VA for a single client for more than 5 years?
Being a VA for 5 years for a single client, it still depends. Again, it still depends on the business need. If a client is really satisfied with how you do your job, for sure they will going to keep you. If your value, or if the things that you can do is more than the things that their regular employee can do. So what's the question earlier? Sorry, the first part.
Since clients are outcasting VAs, ibig sabihin po ba it's cheaper to get a VA than getting a regular employee? Is it possible to be a VA for a single client for more than 5 years?
All right. So sourcing VAs than a regular employee. So wage wise, for example, client-based employer, onshore employees cost like 15 to $25 per hour. Those are for the American employees. That's their basic pay. While a Filipino VA, for example, the cost of getting a VA is like, it's just ranging from, let's say, 5 to 10 or $5 to $8 per month. So it's way more cheaper. Plus, there's no need for a client to pay for like government mandatory um compensations or contributions for their onshore clients, because just like what the culture that we have here in the Philippines, on business persons in the US are also paying for government contribution of their employees. So if they're going to have a VA, it's way cheaper on the business side, because all they have to think, or all they have to pay, is just the hourly salary of their VA. So it's way cheaper for their business.
Okay, next. From si Ila, if bookkeeping ang niche, ano ilalagay sa portfolio if newbie?
Um, if you're a newbie and you're going to, well, you can just go ahead and include that you have the skills of for this particular bookkeeping tools, for example, QuickBooks or Zoho Books. You can just include that you are familiar, you are expert on this type of field.
Okay, I think all the questions were now covered. Is there anything you wanted to cover po, Miss Evangelista, or any final words po?
I think just for those who would like to switch from being a virtual assistant, from a corporate employee to being a virtual assistant, it's not an easy thing. It's way different from how we're being employed in a corporate world. First, you have to make sure that you don't quit your job yet. Don't quit your full-time job yet while you're still sourcing for clients. Because what if you wasn't really able to get any clients at all? First thing. But and then you already quit your corporate job. You already quit your corporate job. So you need to make sure that you have a backup in terms of finances. Make sure that you know yourself well, guys. You know that if I want to be a virtual assistant, I can offer the skills. I know I can do this, I can do that. If ever a client would interview me, I can express myself that I am really capable, I am really knowledgeable. Therefore, they will not refuse the service and raise that I will offer. So again, first thing is to have yourself equipped and be ready for a battle when you get into the VA world, because it's not really that easy. But it's really satisfying and rewarding once you get into it. So that's all. Thank you so much, everyone.
Okay, I think we're all good. We truly appreciate you being here, Miss Evangelista. And now let's take our Zoom P or class picture. So please open your camera. Okay, by opening your camera, you are giving us consent to post this screenshot on our official social media pages for program promotion and documentation. Please stay put your smile because I have 3 pins po dito. Di ko po kasi malalaman kung kayo po ba ay nasa first page, second page, or last page. So keep smiling lang po. On the count of 3, I will take this screenshot. 1, 2, 3. Next. 1, 2, 3. Next. 1, 2, 3. Okay, thank you po. And now to appreciate the contribution and to give us learning, let's give our reward for our resource speaker, the certificate of recognition. First, let me remind you the citation. These certificates of recognition will be awarded to Ms. Joanna Marie Evangelista in grateful recognition for the invaluable sharing of knowledge and expertise rendered as a resource speaker during the ICT specialized training entitled Virtual Assistance 101 The Basics, conducted by the ILCDB Tech for Ed project of the Department of Information and Communications Technology, Region 3, given this first day of March 2023, signed by our Regional Director of the ICT Region 3, Rinaldo TC. And now to close our webinar, let's hear from the provincial head of the ICT Bulacan Provincial Office, Engineer Mario Antonio VII. Let's give him a virtual clap.
Hello, good afternoon, everybody. First of all, I would like to thank the resource speaker, Ms. Joanna Evangelista, and to the Bulacan team and Tepored Bulacan team for the facilitation of this Virtual Assistant 101 webinar. And in behalf of our regional director, I would like to thank all the participants here today, and I hope that you have learned the skills that is needed on the doing virtual assistant. In this way, we are just introducing to you the ins and outs of being a virtual assistant, and hoping that if you are still want to learn more, please follow our Facebook page and look for webinars that you need to improve, and hopefully you can find jobs online, and will start your freelancing career. Again, thank you very much, and good afternoon.
Okay, thank you so much, Engineer Mario Antonio VII, the provincial head of the ICT Bulacan Provincial Office. And this is the post-evaluation of So we're giving you 5 minutes to answer the post-evaluation form. Thank you. So thank you everyone for participating this webinar. Again, I'm Jonalyn Dimangas, your webinar host for today. To get an update regarding our courses offered and other activities of the ICT Region 3, don't forget to follow us on Facebook, DICT Region 3, DICT Bulacan, RLCDB DICT Region 3, Tech for Ed Project, DICT Region 3. Anyone who stopped learning is old, whether at 20 or 80. Anyone who keeps learning stays young. That is a quote by Henry Ford. And that's for today. We hope to see you again in the next digital literacy, in the next virtual training. Thank you and God bless.